Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Den. I'm Daniel. As always, coming to you from a secret location. With today's topic is why the ongoing Michael Jordan and LeBron James GOAT debate needs to end. This debate has been reignited after the airing of the 10-part docuseries The Last Dance, which chronicled the final championship run of the Chicago Bulls of Michael Jordan in 1998, and the team being dismantled by Chicago Bulls ownership and management. Michael Jordan and LeBron James have been linked to each other for years now, with Michael Jordan fans saying that Jordan's the greatest of all time based on his 6 championships, while some say LeBron James is the greatest of all time given everything he's done. Now, while I think that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, one of the greatest not just athletes in basketball, but in American team sports, LeBron James is in that conversation as well, but I think it's time for the debate to end because no matter what happens, no matter what LeBron James does going forward, it'll never satisfy some fans and analysts who just want to keep this debate raging. And I think it's unfair to compare Michael Jordan and LeBron James because not only do they have games that are different from one another, but they played in different eras. Michael Jordan played in an era in the NBA where physicality was at a heightened level, where you could literally assault guys and get away with it, no foul would be called. And the level of competition was much higher with Michael Jordan, some of the teams he went up against, like the Bad Boy Pistons, the Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, etc. Whereas LeBron James also plays in an era where there's a lot of talented guys, a lot of talented teams like Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, Oklahoma City Thunder, etc. But again, the level of competition that Michael Jordan had to go through to win his 6 titles was a lot different than what LeBron James had to go through to win his 3 titles. But it should not change the fact that both these guys are champions and have been at the top of the food chain of their respective sports, of their respective eras for a long time. The fact that LeBron James is still playing at an elite level in his 17th season is pretty remarkable. Michael Jordan played for over 10 years as well and excelled and was the best player in the league, no question, for years. Michael Jordan has 5 regular season MVPs to go along with his 6 finals MVPs. LeBron James has 4 regular season MVPs to go along with his 3 MVPs. But at the end of the day, the only thing that should matter is both of these guys are champions. And champions find ways to win in different ways. And that's what Michael Jordan and LeBron James have done. And we should just appreciate it for that and stop with the comparisons. Because again, it is hard to compare these guys because their game's so different. For instance, LeBron James is probably one of the greatest passers of the basketball probably since Magic Johnson over the past 30 years. LeBron James, his leadership style is different from Michael Jordan's. LeBron James is more of like the all-inclusive leader who wants to treat all his players with respect, has all the handshakes with his teammates, will essentially be complimentary of guys, even though at times he can be passive-aggressive about his teammates through social media and also through the media when he feels like they aren't playing at an elite level. But at the end of the day, LeBron James loves his teammates, and really no teammate that he's ever played with, whether it be Cleveland or LA, has ever had a bad word to say about LeBron James. Michael Jordan, on the other hand, ruled by fear. Jordan would go at teammates, literally would fight them and berate them. But at the end of the day, not many of Michael Jordan's teammates outside of Horace Grant really had anything bad to say about him. But the fact that these guys both had different leadership styles, they led in different ways to get the best out of their teammates to get to the end result, and that's championships. And both of them have done that. So these 2 guys are completely different also in their games. LeBron James is as great as he is. If he wanted to, he could lead the league in scoring, but he is more of a pass first, shoot second type of player. Michael Jordan was all about give me the ball, I'll take us there to the victory. Michael Jordan also excelled as a free throw shooter and a post player, whereas LeBron James, those are 2 areas of his game which I never understood that he wouldn't sharpen fully. So Michael Jordan has the edge in that respect. But even still, they both found different ways to get to the end result, and that's winning championships. And this debate will never be settled because, in my opinion, no matter what LeBron James does going forward, there's nothing he can do that will ever stop the debate about if he's better than Michael Jordan, because you're going to have a segment of a fan base of Michael Jordan fans that will say no matter what LeBron James does, Michael Jordan is the greatest. You'll have a segment of the population of LeBron James fans that say that if LeBron James goes on to win another title or two, this will only cement and solidify him as the greatest of all time and better than Michael Jordan. Again, it is impossible to even have this debate because both guys played in different eras and are great in their own way, and we should just leave it at that. And this debate just needs to end already because they played in different eras. They never played against each other. Sure, we can compare stats, but that's all we can do. We will never get an opportunity to see these guys compete against each other, so we should just embrace and respect and appreciate the greatness of both of these athletes because they gave so much to the game and never cheated the game, and it was just a pleasure to watch Michael Jordan play, and it's also been a pleasure to watch LeBron James playing for 17 years and counting, and I would love to see LeBron James continue to play for as many more years to come, and if he happens to win another championship or two, then if nothing else, he can update his resume, and that can change the argument about where he may stand in the pantheon of all-time greats with the NBA ranking of great players in the history of the game. But at the end of the day, I would rather appreciate Michael Jordan and LeBron James for the champions that they are, for the ambassadors of the game that they are, and how they transcended the game on and off the court by what they've done through their marketability, through their charitable acts, etc. The one thing I also appreciate about LeBron James is the fact that the social stances, his social activism that he's taken, the fact that LeBron James uses his platform to speak out on issues, whereas Michael Jordan, as great as he is, never uses his platform to say anything. I mean, Michael Jordan, even 20, 30 years later, is still being criticized for a comment he made about Republicans buying shoes too. And for those who don't know, Michael Jordan made this remark after there was an African-American candidate running for the Senate in North Carolina who Michael Jordan refused to endorse because Michael Jordan never wanted to get into the political sphere, have no discussions, whereas LeBron James doesn't shy away from that. My point with that is, while both of these guys are different personality-wise, leadership-wise, they're still great, they're still champions, and that's something that we should just cherish and appreciate because it's hard to have transcendent talents come along in the game and carry the game the way that these two have in their eras. And I think that should just stand alone by itself and we should just end this debate already. Now, I want to hear from you guys out there. One, do you think the Michael Jordan, LeBron James GOAT debate should end already? And if you think it shouldn't, who do you think is the GOAT? Michael Jordan or LeBron James? As always, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And more importantly, stay safe and stay home as we try to get through this coronavirus pandemic. We'll do it again next time, and I'm out.